Hello, everybody. And if you've been listening or watching, we're going to continue to stream stories on Radio Entrepreneurs. And our next one's kind of a unique one. I'm looking forward to it. Please meet Annie O'Malley, CEO and owner of Central Mass Mom. Well, you
Hi,
must be a
thanks for
mom.
having me.
You're either a mom or a big mom supporter or both.
Yes, both.
Tell us about Central Mass Mom.
So, Central Mass Mom is a business that is focused in Central Mass, as the name suggests. And we provide support for moms in the Central Mass area. And we do that in a number of different ways. We have a blog where we write about motherhood. We have 20 writers who are all moms who live in the Central Mass area and have kids ages ranging from newborns all the way. I think our oldest writer now has a 12-year-old. So kind of the younger years of motherhood. But we write about motherhood, the challenges. We talk about resources in the area, fun things to do with your kids. And then we also host events. And we do Mom's Night Out. We do Mommy and Me events, playground meetups, all kinds of fun stuff. Just kind of ways to get moms out of the house and meeting each other and feeling supported and thriving in motherhood.
Well, being a new mom can be a very tough emotional place to be. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. Hardest time in my life for sure.
And you're not alone there. That's a lot of moms. They struggle when they first have children. You want to talk a little bit about that and sort of how you got into this? What is your background?
So my background, my college degree is in business administration, and so sort of, I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. I was the kid with the lemonade stand at the end of my driveway, and but I kind of the way that Central Mass Mom came to be in my life when I had my first child a little over 4 years ago. I was totally just knocked over by how much it changed my life, and good ways, but also some really challenging ways. And so I was really seeking a way to find support for myself, how to navigate all these things that you've never done before as a new mom. And I ended up finding a support group that I joined for the first about 6 months of my daughter's life, and it was truly life-saving for me. And I want that for everyone. And the group that I joined was very local to my area. And so I actually started on the Central Mass Mom team as a writer for the blog. And then the woman who owned it at the time decided about 2 years ago that she was no longer able to run it. And so I purchased the business from her and have been running it ever since, and really have taken it over with the goal of really creating the physical space for moms to meet, because that I think is so important and something that I needed, and I didn't know that I needed until I needed it. And so really trying to reach every mom in the Central Mass area to provide the support that they may not have known they needed until all of a sudden a little bundle of joy arrived in their homes and they're wondering how to navigate this whole new part of life.
So tell us a little bit about your events.
We've really ramped up our events in the last 6 months, which is awesome. And that's kind of my personal heart project in the business. Over the summer, we do a springtime playground meetup, which is super casual. We just pick playgrounds in the Central Mass area, and moms show up and hang out, and the kids play. And that's a very kind of low stakes way for, come and chat with another mom, come and chat with me. I can chat with anybody. We do a summertime splash pad series, which is kind of the same idea. We find splash pads around the Central Mass area. And again, you show up, come when you can, leave when your kid has a meltdown, chat in between. And then we've just started our Monday night, Mom's Night Out series. We've done, I think we've had 3 so far at a couple of different restaurants in the Central Mass area. We have one this coming Friday. Excuse me. We have one this coming Friday at Red Apple Farm in Phillipston, which is actually sold out. So you'll have to put yourself on the ticket list for the one we have. Our next one is in January. But again, those are kind of opportunities for moms to get together and chat, hopefully kind of start to build those relationships, find your village. And we have kind of what's sort of unique about them versus other kind of just mom meetups is we have we call it light facilitation, but we kind of start the events with some sort of prompts that the moms can kind of use as their jumping off point. Sometimes it's awkward to start a conversation. You don't know how to start the small talk. You don't want to talk about the weather or whatever. And so we have some prompts that kind of get the conversation flowing and kind of get past that just, how old are your kids and, what town do you live in kind of thing. So, so those are
and the women who you're supporting. I assume maybe there's some men too. There's Mr. Moms. How do you generate your revenue?
So we partially a very small portion of our revenue comes from the Moms Night Out ticket sales. The majority of our revenue comes from ad space that we sell on our website and our social media. So we partner with local businesses who are mom-facing businesses that would benefit from getting in front of a group of moms. And we sell ad space to local businesses to kind of help promote them to our following.
Well, that sort of helps. So what's in the future for Central Mass Mom? Where do you go next? Do you stay just central, or do you just expand and go deeper?
Excuse me. I've been asked that a number of times, and I think the next couple of years, I want to stay focused on Central Mass. But people mention all the time, there's no Western Mass moms, and there's I think there's a lot of opportunity to create something like Central Mass Mom in other areas. I think this is something that's universal, that moms need support regardless of where they live. But I think focusing on where I live right now is nice because I can be physically present and an active part of the certainly the events. But I think at some point there is always the possibility that the business could grow and, we could form a team in further ranging places.
We've been speaking with Annie O'Malley, CEO and owner of Central Mass Mom. Annie, if someone wants to learn more about Central Mass Mom, support you, get involved, get your support, how do they find you?
You can find us at centralmassmom.com or Central Mass Mom on all of the socials. Wherever you follow, that's where we are.
Well, I want to thank you for being on Radio Entrepreneurs. You really are an entrepreneur, and we'll be right back after this break.